keep on making, yes, you keep on making, make it alright. You keep on making, yes, you keep on making, make it alright, alright, alright.
Hey, y'all, listen. What was today? Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, people. Happy Wednesday. Listen, thank you for being in the building. Thank you for hanging out with the diva. Thank you for coming and hopping on this train. It's another late train, okay? It's another late train, but the train is pulling out the building. And tomorrow, I don't even know what time or if the train will pull out the building because I will be going to pick up the kid. Just finished his sophomore year in college. So excited about that. I'll be picking him up. He's coming home for the summer. But so maybe a train will pull out tomorrow, maybe not. We shall see. But in the meantime, the train is pulling out tonight. So thanks for being here and thanks for always supporting the diva. I love y'all. So it's trending topics and the title is What is Wrong with People? What is wrong with people? This Diddy trial, we are in what really is the second week, but it's only week one of us actually hearing testimony. Because all last week, they was just trying to get a jury of 12 and 6 alternates. And they finally got that. And matter of fact, I got to do a video where I'm talking to the judge because in my mind, every now and then, the people listen to Diva. And I'm going to do a video just for the judge to say to the judge, you need to sequester this jury. But in the meantime, let's have a conversation because Cassie is on the stand. Her testimony is very polarizing. When she settled her lawsuit with Diddy, the people was 10 toes down. They was swearing about the number of how much she got. Some people said 30 million, some people said 50, and some people said 100 million. Well, we found out from Cassie herself today on the stand. To me, I'm saying it was only 20 million. And the reason why I'm saying it was only 20 million, because when I hear her story, I'm like, good googly my. It's horrific. It is sad. And listen, I could say that and still say this. They're saying all of this, but again, I have to ask the question, how does this connect to the charges at hand? From everything we're hearing, just a beast, a monster. It's something with these men. This is not the first time I heard that a couple that was in a volatile relationship and they broke up and then the man went over there and violated the girl one more time. If I could say there's a problematic part with Cassie's story, is Cassie is, saying she was a victim, and I'm not here to debate with y'all whether she was a victim or not a victim. But then as she tell pieces of her story, she was complicit and she was okay with it and she went with it, and then other parts she didn't. So I'm just trying to figure out which one does she want us to roll with. I feel like the prosecutor should have did better of getting her to be consistent with that she was a victim, if that's what they want the jury to understand. Because right now it's a roller coaster ride. One minute I was with it, the next minute I wasn't, but I still shouldn't have got beat up. Nobody should get hit. And the reason why I say that is because 2018 is not that long ago. In 2018, she said, and this, let me say this to everybody out there. If you are done with somebody, there's no need to have a final conversation or a final dinner with them. I just want closure. If y'all don't have no kids together, no property, y'all was never married, y'all don't gotta have a dissolution to this relationship, there is no need. There is no need to have a final conversation with them. Melissa, I did read the definition of the human trafficking, but my thing is, one minute you saying he's your boyfriend, the next minute he wasn't, that you was in love, you wasn't. And the problematic part I'm having is, in 2018, you was with your new man. If somebody was trafficking you and you got a new man that loves you, I don't need no closure with that other dude. I'm good. You go back, you have dinner with him, and then you allow this person that did all of this horrific stuff to you to offer you a ride home, and you took it. I'm not blaming her. I'm not victim shaming. I need y'all to stay connected and understand that a jury has to go back and deliberate and dissect this thing. So he drives you home, he R's you. Then you had to tell us that after he R'd you, you went back and y'all had sex again, and this time you volunteered to it. But remember, out of her own mouth, she said by that time she was already with her new man, who later became her husband. It's a lot. It's a whole lot. But again, I'm saying all of that, and I'm still saying this. I still feel for her. I still feel for her. Because it was a lot she endured. So she got paid $20 million. She said he ordered her. And she still did not go to, the defense still hasn't cross-examined her. I don't know. God, listen, and I will say this. I'm going to give her this. For her to be pregnant and be sitting in that chair and that stand that long, and to be recalling all this and going through all of this, I commend her. I really do, because this ain't easy, especially when the person you're talking about is sitting right there. And I'm gonna be 10 toes down with this. This is not what Cassie wanted, but this is what ended up happening. She didn't want all this. She just wanted her money. But we're going to get into it and we're going to talk about it. Because it's very sad, and people something did. At best, we got to come to the conclusion Diddy is not all right in the head. This is some messed up stuff. But again, is it connecting to the charges at hand? So now we're going to go and talk about, we're just doing 2 stories tonight because the train pulled out kind of late. We're going to talk about the New Jersey couple. Tortured this teenager, took her out of school. And you know what? I can't understand it. With my son, if he was late, see, here's the thing. Let me, okay. Hey, let me say this to everybody. We don't know who in this world was abused or not abused, right? And just because I talk a certain way, that doesn't mean that I was or wasn't abused. But when I talk on these panels, the way I gotta come and talk to everybody is to let people know that's coming behind the Cassies and all of this, that you don't have to sit in this and accept the abuse. So I've been through some things. I'm 55. I've been on this earth for a minute, and I've been through some things. And you know that saying they love to say, thank God I don't look like what I've been through. So I love you. I know you always in my chat, but you don't know if I ever been abused or not. I promise you that. I got a story to tell. But you know what? A lot of people got a story to tell. But if y'all follow me all the time, this y'all know I always say for sure. People base what they do off of money. And I'm not victim shaming her. This is facts. I'm willing to throw everything I own. I love you back. I love you back because I know you always here supporting me. But let me tell you this. If Diddy worked in McDonald's, I doubt she would have been in that situation that long. I do. Now, I know there are some people out there that, they're in abusive stuff and their partner don't make all this money, this, that, and the other. But a lot of people are out here taking some hits for these NFL players, these NBA players, these entertainment people because of the lifestyle and the money. Let's be clear. That Lil Wayne baby, the girlfriend or whatever that says she got kicked out on Mother's Day, she want to tell us in her stories that he been putting hands on her. And now that he kicked you out, you want a lawyer and all this other stuff. Why did you stay? And that's why the baseline I'm trying to tell people, be okay with a studio apartment where you can turn your own key. Don't be moving in with nobody if it's not your husband or your wife. And when you see a behavior you don't like, don't think it's going to change. Again, I'm going to say this as respectfully as I can. From day one, she said she never liked Diddy. She said early on he introduced her to these freak-offs. And I know everybody, because that's the buzzword. He groomed her. Now, what I don't know is, what is the time frame for how long it takes to groom somebody? Because she said out of her own mouth in her own testimony that early on, darn near soon after the relationship started, he was doing said things. Does it take 10 days to groom somebody? I don't know. Because early on, she started this behavior. She wanted that career. And again, I respectfully say this. Whether it was 10 years, 10 album deal, out the gate, if y'all could just Google and tell me anybody in history, I'm talking about the people with some of the best voices out there. Prince, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Aretha Franklin, Gladys Knight, Beyonce. It was no 10 album deal out the gate. But let me move on and talk about this New Jersey couple that tortured their teen. Tortured this teen. Took her out of school. I'm confused about how, if your kid was in school for XYZ years, and then all of a sudden they no longer in the school, this child protective services, somebody needs to take over it because it's a hot, stinking mess. The girl finally escaped. And now the parents are locked up. What is wrong with people? And I don't think that was her father, her biological father. I'm going to say this yet again, and I hope somebody catches that's out there that's a single parent. Watch who you bring around your kids. If you need relations that bad, I'm going to again say this as respectful as I can. Get a vibrator. Or meet the person somewhere in the streets. But don't bring them around your kids. Because just like that, your kids, you will be trying to backtrack and have them in therapy and you in therapy trying to fix what some stranger did to them. Don't do it. Anyway, guys, y'all know what it is, right? Y'all know what time it is. Thank you to that. I see it in there. I need a what? I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. It is Wednesday night trending topics. We got stuff to talk about. The title is called What is Wrong with People? We got Cassie still on the stand. God bless her. This baby's going to come out of her any second now. And she's sitting there strong, telling her story. We got the New Jersey couple arrested for torturing their teen. Let me bring the people in the building. Hey, Sebastian. Hey, Leo. Hey, Wayne.
Hey, Choo-choo.
Hey. Hey, in my opinion. Hey, Katrina. Hey, Julius. Hey, Manila Poppin. Okay, come on now. We're in the building today. Okay, we're in the building. We want
Hey,
person
y'all.
minus
Hit
a
the
full
like
panel.
button.
Hit the like button. The first one I'm going to go into is this story with this New Jersey couple. It's just horrific. I don't understand people. I don't understand people. And you know what? Maybe one day I'm going to do a whole panel and a whole video on how to escape. Whether you're in a bad relationship, I don't care if you have not a dime to your name. I would probably, and I ain't want to be sleeping in the streets, but I'll probably sleep in the streets before I stay with a man or someone that is just treating me wrong. Hold on one second. Let's get into this New Jersey couple. I think this is the one I want to play. Let's take a listen.
In Pennsylvania, I want to put up a post right here on Live Now from Fox 2019, talking about the township. There is a couple is being charged for confining and abusing a child. Prosecutors say a girl held captive inside a dog cage and chained inside the bathroom for years. The now 18-year-old escaped last week. Of course, we're following it closely here on Live Now from Fox, and we had an update from authorities in Camden County providing this. Let's listen into a very disturbing story here on Live Now from Fox.
And confined to her home, which helped to hide the heinous, years-long torture that she suffered. The victim stated that she was forced to live in a dog crate for approximately 1 year and let out only periodically. The victim also advised that she was later forced to live in a padlocked bathroom while being chained up. She stated that she would be let out of the bathroom only when family visited the residence. At other times, she was forced to live in a bare room with just a bucket to use instead of a toilet. She explained the bare room had an alarm system that would alert the defendants, Brandon Mosley, and Brenda Spencer, if she tried to leave. She reported she was beaten with a belt and sexually abused by Mosley. The abuse occurred for years until she escaped the residence on Thursday, May 8th. She was assisted by a neighbor. She later disclosed the abuse, which was reported to law enforcement. What was absolutely horrific. After speaking with the victim, our detectives searched the residence and found that the victim was subjected to living in squalid, filthy conditions alongside numerous animals, dogs, chinchillas, and other animals. Detectives also learned that a 13-year-old young female who lived in the home was also removed from school years earlier at Spencer's direction. Both girls were allegedly homeschooled. For homeschooling in New Jersey, parents are only required to notify the school district of their intent to homeschool. There is no requirements by the New Jersey Department of Education to follow up or to confirm attendance records, minimum instructional time, subjects, or testing. Homeschooling may be the right choice for many families. Unfortunately, it can be used by others as a means to hide abuse. In this case, both Spencer and Mosley were charged on Sunday, May 11th with the following charges. 1 count of first-degree kidnapping, 1 count of second-degree conspiracy to commit kidnapping, 1 count of second-degree aggravated assault, 5 counts of second-degree endangering the welfare of a child through abuse and neglect, 1 count of third-degree criminal restraint, 1 count of third-degree aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, 1 count of third-degree possession of a weapon for unlawful purpose, 1 count of fourth-degree unlawful possession of a weapon. Mosley was also charged with the additional offenses: 2 counts of first-degree aggravated sexual assault, 2 counts of second-degree sexual assault, One count of second-degree endangering the welfare of a child by sexual contact. On Sunday, May 11th, Spencer and Mosley were both taken into custody at their residence in Gloucester Township. Both were remanded to the Camden County Correctional Facility. Their detentions are scheduled for this Friday, May 16th at 9 a.m. in Superior Court.
Prosecutor, can you talk about the escape and how lucky this teenager is to be out of this situation now, and what that escape was like, and how lucky they were that a neighbor was involved?
She was extremely fortunate, extremely fortunate. At this time, we're not disclosing all the details. More details will be forthcoming at the detention hearing on Friday.
I'm sorry, the noise is bad on this one. I'm going to stop it here. You get the gist of it, because I don't like all the noise in the background, and I'm just going to give more details from, cruel is an understatement. I'm going to give more details from the article. So, New Jersey couple accused of chaining up girl in a bathroom, forcing her to live inside a door crate in squalid house of horrors. A New Jersey couple is accused of abusing a teen girl for 7 years by forcing her to live in a door crate and chained up in a bathroom in their squalid animal-filled home, prosecutor says. Brenda Spencer, 38, and Brandon Mosley, 41, of Gloucester Township, were accused of harming the now 18-year-old girl since 2018, with the victim suffering physical, mental, and sexual abuse, according to the Camden County Prosecutor's Office. That is her, and they haven't told us the relationship of these two girls in comparison to the female and this male. Okay. The victim, who escaped from the home Thursday, said the abuse began when Spencer pulled her out of school in the 6th grade and forced her to live inside a door crate for about a year. The girl was later thrown into a padlocked bathroom where she was chained up and only allowed to go out when family visited the residence to hide the abuse, prosecutors said. When she wasn't in the bathroom, the victim would be forced to live in a bare room with a bucket to use as a toilet. The victim told police the room was fixed with an alarm system that would alert Spencer and Mosley if she tried to leave. Along with the mental torture, the victim said she was reportedly beaten and sexually abused by Mosley, a trained conductor for SEPTA, until she finally escaped last week. With the help of a neighbor, the girl was able to contact police and report her years of suffering to investigators, who found the home she was staying in to be in squalid conditions. At the house, the testers also found a 13-year-old girl who had been removed from school years earlier at Spencer's discretion. Police also found numerous dogs, chinchillas, and other animals inside the house. Spencer and Mosley's relationship to the girls was not clear. The couple was arrested and charged on Sunday with kidnapping, aggravated assault, endangering the welfare of a child, and criminal restraint, as well as various weapons charges. Mosley was additionally charged with 5 counts of sexual assault. Both Spencer and Mosley are currently being held at the Camden County Correctional Facility pending their court hearing. I don't know what's wrong with people. This is disgusting. Sebastian, your thoughts?
This is honestly unexplainable, what has happened here, because, as you said, where is CPS? Where is CPS? Because there's no way you mean to tell me this girl was not going to school. And I understand she was being homeschooled, but still, CPS is still supposed to like monitor homeschooling and stuff and things of that sort. They do that. Like, I know someone who was homeschooled and they did that. It's very insane how this was allowed to happen. And you know, this is why they say not everyone should be parents. Nope. That's it.
Thank you. Leo, your thoughts?
Thank God this child was able to escape that hell that she was living in. Yeah, absolutely right, Sebastian. There are people that should not be parents. I will never understand where these women get these men from. I would never understand. I don't know what kind of woman. I don't know. I don't know. I'll be so glad when the detention hearing happens so I can get more information. When did they meet? Have the children always lived this way? Is this something, has this been an ongoing thing that the mother been running the circus? She just invite people in? I mean, because I'm so glad both of them have been charged. I am very glad both of them have been charged because they both need to be up under the jail. Both of them. I just am so thankful they got that 13-year-old up out of there. And it's terrible. I want to know what the family thinks on both sides. Like, where these people at? Who are these people? I want to know, is the girl her biological daughter, or was it his? I don't know. But anyway, thank God those people are in jail and they are off the street.
Yeah. In my opinion, your thoughts?
It's this is sad. And we hearing these stories way too often. And I'm wondering, I guess because when I grew up, it was like if you didn't see a child that was in the neighborhood, neighbors would check on you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just wondering what happened. Like the neighbors didn't know that something was wrong. Like they didn't ever see the kids or nothing. It just feel like it was so many balls that been dropped. You know what I'm saying? Even if they was homeschooling, this went on for 7 years. That girl struggled in silence for 7 years. Because you said since 2018, right?
Mm-hmm.
She would have been 11. Just imagine the torture, the pain. I can't even imagine it. I just feel like people like this should not have the right to breathe anymore. Like when you do something this devastating, you should not have the right. It's sad. It makes me upset because it's just happening too frequently.
Thank you, in my opinion. Felicia, your thoughts?
Hey, good evening, everyone. Good evening. So, I believe the prosecutor shared some really good information with us what the laws are in New Jersey about homeschooling.
Yeah.
She says once you just notify the school and say you're going to homeschool, that's it. You're not required to do any testing. You're not required to check in with your district. Nobody offers you any books. You don't necessarily have a curriculum that you have to be following. And so, based on what I heard here, there's probably quite a few children in the state of New Jersey who are going unaccounted for. I'm so glad that the neighbor believed her and took her in and didn't reach out to the stepfather and the so-called mom, but let her call the police and find a place of respite that she was believed.
Mm-hmm.
I know all of us know how important it is to be believed. I was thinking about, what's his name? I think it was Gacy or somebody in Chicago that kidnapped that kid. And the kid gets away and the police took him back. And he ended up taking that kid's life.
Oh, I did.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
But this neighbor believed and protected and took her in.
Mm-hmm.
And that I give God all the praise and all the thanks. I hope that over the years she's able to heal and recover. And I hope they never, ever have to go back to those people. I'm done.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Wayne?
Yeah, I just think it's a very hurtful situation, to have, both parents, let alone one, and to see how she could let her daughter go through that. And for what reason? And then she had two. I mean, for what reason did you bring these kids? Were you thought maybe your husband was going to like them more or something? To put them through that kind of torture, it's just hurtful to think that people could be that heinous and bring it upon their offspring. That's it.
Whew, Katrina, your thoughts?
Hey panel, hey chat, hey Diva. I just want to say that he's not conducting our train, so our train stay on track.
Mm.
Um, the situation with the kids and that woman, that's not even a woman. Like I tell you all the time, everybody can be a mom, but it take a real person to be a mother. And a real person and a real mother do not bring harm or inflict harm on their children. And they dang sure don't let no other person do that to them either. So I don't know what hold this man had on her, but she need to be put in. Maybe they should put them in the dog cage. Cause see, I just don't understand, why do they have to go to prison or jail and live and walk around and do whatever, but this child was locked up for years? Put them in the cage. Get them dog food. And another thing, when the family members came over, they didn't see the kids wasn't looking normal, or that the kids wasn't looking like they was kept or unkept or anything like that. Like, what did the family members see? Because if this child is locked up like this, there's no way they could be very, very nutritional, or did she comb their hair or bathe them before these people came over whatsoever? It's a lot of stuff missing, because when I go to people's houses, the first thing I do is go to your bathroom. Your bathroom ain't clean. I don't want nothing in your house. But what I'm saying is, there was nobody that paid attention to how these children was looking when they came over to the house to visit them. This is just weird on so many levels, and they need to be put in a doggy pen the way they had those kids in a doggy pen or a locked bathroom. They don't even need to be in no jail cell. They need to be in a doggy cell, because they shouldn't be able to watch TV. They shouldn't be able to go to the bathroom when they want to. They shouldn't be able to go to sleep when they want to. They shouldn't be able to walk around in a prison cell feeling free only because they locked in that just cell. But you still have an outside place that you can go to and you can watch TV. You can do whatever. This is sick on so many levels. And once these people start treating these criminals to doing the same thing to them that they doing to these kids, maybe we'll have a difference. And the truancy officers, there wasn't gonna be no truancy officers, because they was in homeschool. And homeschool, half of the time, the parents be doing the kids' work, some of them. So when they turn the work and stuff in, the school thinking that the kids is doing the work. This is sick on so many levels, and I just can't stand when people mess with children. That really eats the heck out of me. That really eats the heck out of me, because an abused child is a child that goes through trauma. They have things in their brain stop at that trauma, where that trauma first began. They have a lot of stuff they got to work through. They got to go through therapy. They have to deprogram themselves. It's just a lot. It's just a lot, and it irritates the heck out of me. But that's all I got. That's all I got.
Thank you. Julius, your thoughts?
I hope that young lady does not have to go back into that environment. And I hope that those two people who are supposed to be her parents are held in jail. It is true to an extent, and I want to make this clear. It is true to an extent. If extended family members know of abuse and trauma, some of them do look the other way. In some families, they do look the other way.
Mm-hmm.
However, if we're gonna talk about this, let's state the fact. Not all families are like that, and some family members do step in, and some of them they lay down the butt kicking to the said abuser and let them know you ain't ever gonna see this child again. So I hope this young lady is able to stay with that trusted neighbor. I hope that trusted neighbor, at least for right now, went down to the courthouse to file to be this child's guardian. And I hope that child is in therapy so they can start their healing. That's it.
Thank you. Whew. Well, we're gonna go ahead and roll into our last story for the day, and the Cassie the Diddy trial is going on currently. Cassie on the stand again today, was not cross-examined yet, but a lot is going on. Cassie talked about how she got UTIs from these freak offs, to the point where the antibiotic that they would normally give to correct it stopped working. She talked about having sores in her mouth from performing oral so much because she was, according to her, doing these free calls 4 times a week, almost every week of the year. She talked about how Diddy violated her, arred her when in 2018 when she wanted to have the final conversation with him, saying that it was over. And then she's saying, you know, shortly after that, one more time, but this time it was she did it, you know, voluntarily. They did have relations one more time. It's a lot. And she also talked about how she got 20 million when she settled her case with Diddy. Just going to go through some highlights really quick, even though I kind of told some stuff. Cassie testifies that Sean Combs arred her in 2018. Singer shared details about the 2016 hotel assault and Combs' alleged threats over a relationship with Kid Cudi during the second day of testimony. Cassandra Cassie Ventura took the stand for her second day of testimony in Sean Combs' criminal trial, during which she shared details of ex-boyfriend 2016 physical assault at the Intercontinental Hotel, which was captured on surveillance video. Combs' reaction to her brief relationship with Kid Cudi and the 2018 rape allegation. The testimony follows Ventura's first day on the stand, Tuesday, May 13, during which she painted an extremely graphic picture of the humiliating sexual acts she said she endured to avoid Combs' violence and sustain the hip-hop mogul's love. Early in the day, jurors once again were shown the surveillance footage of the 2016 assault before Ventura read aloud a series of text messages Combs sent her afterward. These included multiple requests to call him, as well as, "I got 6 kids. Yo, please call. I'm surrounded. And for my kids' help." Ventura texts Combs that she has spoken to security, and as long as you don't disturb the guests, they'll leave you be. She went on to testify that Combs had given her a fat lip and a black eye as a result of the attack. "You are sick for thinking it's okay to do what you've done to me. Please stay far away from me," she texted him. She declined to give Combs' name to the police. She said, "Because I didn't want to hurt him that way. It was just too much going on." And that's why I also say that she didn't really mean for this to, you know, go to this level that it is currently at now. But, you know, unfortunately, once she did the lawsuit, Pandora's box was opened, and here it is. Ventura is considered the star witness in the Southern District of New York prosecutor's case. Walked into the court Wednesday wearing a gray turtleneck dress. It was the 38-year-old R&B's singer's November 2023 civil lawsuit against Combs that put a federal investigation into motion. In September, the Southern District of New York prosecutors charged Combs with the sex trafficking of 2 women between 2009 and 2024, racketeering conspiracy, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Combs, 55, has pleaded not guilty to the 5 felony charges against him. If convicted, he faces up to 15 years to life in prison. Near the end of the day, Ventura alleged that Combs arred her in 2018. At the time, their relationship was ending, and Ventura had already begun seeing her now husband, Alex Fine. She said she and Combs went to dinner in Malibu and had what she thought was a closure conversation, describing the mood as playful and romantic. She said Combs drove her and then arred me in my living room. "I just remember crying and saying no. But it was very fast," Ventura continued. Ventura added that she wasn't even sure Combs noticed her crying. Per a previous ruling, Fine, who has otherwise been in attendance throughout Ventura's time on the stand, was barred from hearing the testimony about the alleged R. Ventura went on to say she had sex with Combs one more time after their breakup, though this time by choice. Of that decision, she noted that their decade together and said, "You just don't turn feelings off that way. I still had a good vision of who he was as a person." But the long-term effects of their relationship linger, she said. Ventura broke down as she discussed her decision to enter rehab in a trauma therapy program in 2023. "I was spinning out," she said. I didn't want to be alive anymore at that point. Ventura recalled having flashbacks during a music video shoot, and when she returned home, she told Fine, "You can do this. You can do this without me. You don't need me anymore," she added. I couldn't take the pain that I was in anymore, and so I just tried to walk out the front door into traffic, and my husband would not let me. That is heart-wrenching. Throughout her testimony Wednesday, Ventura shared many alleged incidents of physical violence, including during freak-offs. The lengthy, drug-filled sexual encounters Combs allegedly orchestrated with Ventura and male sex workers. Ventura said she was injured during freak-offs, sometimes with an escort still in the room, when Combs put his hands on her. She added that the alleged incidents happened too frequently. Ventura also detailed a 2013 incident where she said Combs came to her apartment and started berating her for sleeping when she should have been packing for an upcoming trip. Ventura said two of her friends who were there at the time jumped on Combs' back because he was trying to attack me. At one point during the scuffle, Ventura said Combs threw her down. I hurt my elbow on the corner of my bed, she said, adding that she was left with a pretty significant gash on the side of my eyebrow. Later that day, Ventura said one of Combs' security guards took her to a plastic surgeon to suture the wound. She said she took a photo and texted Combs, so you can remember. On the witness stands, Ventura pointed to her eyebrow and said she still has a scar from the incident, which she covers up with makeup. Prosecutors showed the jury a photo of Ventura with the eyebrow injury. During her second day of testimony, prosecutors again questioned Ventura at length about the freak-offs, focusing on the physical toll they took. Ventura read text messages she sent to Combs about sores on her tongue, which she attributed to performing oral sex and taking drugs. She also said she frequently suffered from urinary tract infections, yet would continue to perform during the freak-offs despite horrible pain. After the freak-offs, Ventura continued. She and Combs would recover with massages and IV fluids, but also opiates, which Combs allegedly provided at times. Ventura says she developed an on and off opiate addiction, adding opiates made me feel numb, which is why I relied on them so heavily. I didn't want to feel what was actually going on in my mind, in my life, in real time. It was just an escape for me. Ventura also testified about the videos Combs allegedly made of the freak-offs, which she said were turned into blackmail materials. She said Combs frequently brought up the videos when he was angry with her and threatened to release them as a way to keep her in line. On one such instance, Ventura said when she started dating Kid Cudi, real name Scott, in 2011, she testified per reports that Combs threatened to release freak-off videos after learning about their relationship. And she claimed that Combs threatened to hurt her in Kid Cudi, with Combs allegedly saying he would be out of the country when it happened. Ventura also claimed that Combs discussed blowing up his car and claimed Combs said he wanted Kid Cudi's friends to see the explosion. In 2012, a Porsche owned by Kid Cudi was set on fire by incendiary device, as a contemporaneous police report put it. Ventura testified that after she ended her relationship with Kid Cudi, she next saw him at Soho House with Combs also present. Ventura testified that Kid Cudi asked Combs, "What about my vehicle?" To which Combs allegedly replied, "What vehicle?" Ventura said that was the end of the meeting. Another alleged incident occurred during a trip to the Cannes Film Festival, where Ventura said Combs accused her of stealing his drugs from him, then kicked her off of his boat. On the flight back home, Ventura says she tried to avoid Combs, but he eventually traded for a seat next to her and started playing videos of freak-offs that Ventura thought she had deleted. She said Combs told her he was going to embarrass me and release them. Ventura says she felt trapped, and when they landed, Combs wanted to have a freak-off. At that point, whatever was going to make him not be angry at me and threaten me, I was willing to do, she said. I just didn't want to feel scared anymore. It was the one thing he made me feel like I was good at. She testified that at one point she texted Combs that nothing good came out of the free calls. You treat me like you're Ike Turner, she like you're Ike Turner, she texted. Much of Ventoria's testimony during her first day on the stand centered on how she came to find herself unable to say no to Combs. He became her label boss in 2006 when she signed with Bad Boy, and shortly after her 21st birthday in August 2007, Combs began to pursue her romantically. She said those overtures were confusing at first, but Ventura said she quickly became enamored of Combs. And by later that year, after a fake work trip to Miami, where the pair first had sex, and Ventura first knowingly took the party drug Molly, Ventura said they were in a relationship. When the first year of dating, Ventura claimed Combs proposed to me this sexual encounter that he called voyeurism, where he would watch me have intercourse and sexual activity with a third party, specifically another man. Ventura briefly testified about the physical abuse she claimed began early on in their relationship and happened too frequently. He would mash me in my head, knock me over, drag me, kick me, stomp me in the head if I was down, she said. She also spoke about the alleged control Combs had over her life, including her living arrangements, her appearance, and her music career. Ventura also said Combs filled her day with busy work when she was not with him. However, much of the day was focused on the humiliating and disgusting sexual acts that Combs allegedly directed her and male escorts to perform during freak-offs. Ventura claimed that Combs controlled the highly choreographed sexual encounters, approving the male escorts that Ventura said she was tasked with hiring, as well as the outfits she wore. Ventura said she felt she couldn't say no to Combs, fearing that something bad would happen. His temper, Ventura explained, if that is something that he wanted, Sean wanted to happen, that's what was going to happen. There wasn't another way around it. She also expressed anxiety that if she refused, Combs, the perpetual bachelor, would discard her, finding another woman to have freak-offs with. She testified that her self-worth plummeted over the course of their relationship. I'm sure it did. Oh, those are the updates. It's horrific. Leo, your thoughts?
When I tell you it's horrific, it's monstrous. It's stomach churning. Oh Lord, it makes me forget my thoughts. I always tend to still go back to what a dangerous person this man is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he is a very dangerous person who has been allowed to get away with doing so much. Because as I think about it, we've all known about his temper, his violence towards women. Because as I listen to you read this, and I've read and I've gone over the testimony of today like 3 different times. This man hates women. He absolutely hates women. It's all these names of women that he done put his hands on. Yeah, he's a violent person. I'm sure he's had run-ins with men that he probably already knew, like he slapped Drake, like he already knew that was not gonna, hit him back. I'm sure he's managed to be with all the murderers and all the substance dealers and all of them in the jail, and he don't seem to be, slapping none of them around. He know who to, get down with. He really hates women, and I'm sure it comes from his childhood. I'm sure it comes from whatever that's going on with his mother. He hates women because I think he want to be one. I cannot imagine why you would want to watch a woman that he clearly hates, that you would have be treated this way. She kept speaking of her humiliation and her shame. And within the last bit of her testimony, she says that she's tired of living with the pain. She's tired of living with the shame. And this is her attempt to try to unburden herself with the shame. And I'm going to say this too, and then I'm going to get off the line. I really feel like Puffy did this to her because he knew she did not want to. If he wanted third parties, if he wanted to see her sleeping with men, he could have got professional men. But he wouldn't go get professional men because he wanted people who he wanted the worst possible circumstance to see her sleep with these men and violate her mouth till she had sores. He really wanted to watch this woman in pain. He's a horrible human being. He's a horrible human being. We'll all be better off. I don't care how many others out there. Yeah, there's others out there. Worse, I'm quite sure. We just learned about a man that was abusing a poor child in a cage. I understand that. But he need to definitely be off the street.
Thank you, Leo. Felicia, your thoughts?
Well, I have a lot of them. I listened to a lot of what was going on in court today. As I said last night, whenever I'm going to be asked, I'm going to remind everyone that we are still waiting on the minors. We're waiting on the 9-year-old and the 13-year-old and the 16-year-old. But as I understand it, we're not going to get that now. I'm not certain why that is. I've been told that many of the Jane Doe cases have been tossed out and they can refile, but they can't come back with a pseudonym. Now, I was thinking as I was listening to Miss Ventura, and I want everyone to hear me and hear me real clear. I believe her. I believe what she shared with us today. I'm not questioning what she said happened to her in any way. But what I am questioning and have always questioned is this judicial system. I am absolutely confident that when she met with the prosecutors, she told them what she had experienced. Yet, we did not get a superseding indictment that had things like kidnapping or grape or revenge porn or blackmail. We didn't get sexual abuse. We didn't get assault and battery. We didn't get assault in the first degree. We didn't get any of that. Yet for 2.5 days, that's what we've been hearing. So I don't know what the end game is here. I know this prosecution does not care or respect Miss Ventura. Not at all. All that she shared for 2.5 days has been her humiliation, whether by Mr. Combs or one of these workers or herself. But he's not charged with any of these things. So I said, well, maybe they're doing a warm-up and we're going to get into the details of how she was trafficked. Now, for those, I don't know, folks are busy out here working. I don't know if you had the time to listen. Miss Ventura went back and forth today. Back and forth, back and forth. Yes, I wanted it. No, I didn't want it. Yes, I loved him, but I told him I didn't want to do that anymore. But then, yeah, I went and I did it. And she gave a list of substances that she took on a daily basis that would make anybody sick. So I'm assuming that she doesn't even know or remember a lot of what she said or how she felt or what she really wanted to do. One of the things that Diva didn't read to you all is that her mother was well aware that she was in a physically abusive relationship. Did her mother know that she was making videos that were hardcore pornography? No. But she would go to her mother's house and her mother would help to nurture and heal her wounds. One of the other things Diva didn't get a chance to bring to everyone is all of her friends who have been assaulted and beaten up by her so-called boyfriend that she loved. She had quite a few. So I thought it was only Carrie. Carrie took a couple of hits and beatdowns from Mr. Combs before she took that hanger to the head. When she took the hanger to the head, she was done. But one of the witnesses that I understand is coming up is another dear friend of hers, and some of you may know her. She did an article in the Rolling Stone, and she also filed a civil lawsuit against Mr. Combs, and her name is Brianna Bagolin, and people call her Banna. She is the one that it's alleged that Mr. Combs came in and got rowdy and was tossing her friends around, and he picked her up and hung her over the 17th floor of Miss Ventura's balcony in her apartment. Now, this was in 2016, and this was allegedly after this Intercontinental Hotel assault. Miss Banna went on then to create her own line. She was Mr. Combs and Miss Ventura's stylist, and she went on to create her own line, and she did that in 2017 after being hung off of this balcony, and she went on to praise Miss Ventura and Mr. Combs for the opportunity to be able to do so. Yeah. So when I'm listening to these stories, oh, and yes, many of these friends of hers shared lots of substances. So it wasn't uncommon for folks to be under the influence, and then so is Mr. Combs, and he comes in and starts to beat people down. So as for tomorrow, I understand Miss Ventura is going to be on cross. I don't know what to expect because I'd like for us to get to the RICO. I think it's been really horrific on many of us that this story is so public. I'd like to thank Mr. Wigdor, Miss Ventura's attorney, for ensuring that this stuff was not going, the graphic materials were not going to be exposed to the public. It was he who fought this in court and said only the jurors should have some kind of access to it. It should be a private screen. They were supposed to, the defense could see it, the prosecution could see it, and a couple of people in the media if they were going to write about it. But no, it wasn't going to be for public consumption. I think when this whole piece is over, we're all going to be totally sickened. I think this is, many of us, I can speak for me, never been anywhere near hardcore pornography, ever. And this is what I believe I'm hearing because it's so obscene in nature for me. And I'm thinking, well, for Miss Ventura, she probably didn't know anything about that either, but she got introduced through her boyfriend. And as Diva pointed out to us, even after they went to have the closure conversation and they went to talk about this closure and they were having a romantic, fun dinner, she allowed, as many of you would refer to him, the monster, to drive her home. And she gave that monster access to her in her home, where he then went on to grape her. What is so troubling to me personally, it was that she not only saw him that one more time, according to her testimony, it was a couple of times, because we loved each other and we continued to check in. Now, for those of you who may not know this, during this piece of her testimony, they asked her husband to step outside of the courtroom. We were told it's because he may be called in as a witness to discuss this piece. I don't know if he knew that his girlfriend was still seeing the monster. Maybe she said, I'm just checking in to see how he's doing, but he didn't know. Maybe. that they had been intimate voluntarily. So there's a lot going on here. I think a lot of the truth is missing, but I'm going to be open. I'm waiting for the facts. But I don't want to be calling people anything or defining people's characters based on this situation. As I said before, I live here in New York. Many of us said Mr. Combs should have been locked up and held accountable for the loss of those lives of those young people. He has done a lot of things. It's not just to women. He had a suit with Steve Stout. Remember, he hit him in the head with a bottle. It was just recently. He hit his son's coach in the head with a kettlebell or something.
So he did. That is right. He did. He did.
Yeah, so he's always been explosive. He's always been violent. But there was a comment or a statement made by Miss Ventura that when she was checking in, she always knew and she always knows that there's a vision of the man that she knows, that she has, whom she loves. I'm done.
Whew. Thank you, Felicia. Julius, your thoughts?
Cassie's testimony has been hard to listen to. But one thing that her testimony has brought to light, there's lots and lots of men in our society today who are the same as Diddy. It's one thing that you don't want to believe her, that's fine, don't believe her. But don't shame her for sharing her experience. You can be great in a relationship. That can happen. And it's not okay. I don't know what her upbringing was, but when Miss Felicia said that, and it made this thought come to a head because I was on Facebook earlier and I was just thinking, what if she came up in an abusive home and he knew this about her past and he used this to manipulate her? And it's all she knew. Honestly, that part I don't want to know. It's not my business. I don't know what's going to happen with this trial. But all I know is that she sees this as her tool to heal herself, to release all this so it's not hanging over her anymore. So then that way she can continue to be the best mother for her daughters than what she had. That's how I'm interpreting this somewhat. But I mean, I knew Diddy was a monster, but dang.
Katrina, your thoughts?
I think she released herself when she wrote that book. But no woman deserves to go through what she went through. But after you saw what he did to the mother of his children, there is no possible way that I would ever got involved with this man. Making that little one song, whatever that little song was she made with Lil Wayne, is about the only thing that we remember. But what I'm saying is, you saw what he did to Kim, and that was the mother of his kids. I think he had you to have plenty unaliving of children, if I'm not mistaken. But to see her go through what she went through, you think I was going to hop in that fire? So you thought that you was going to be better than her when you was laughing at her when she was getting stoned down? And you didn't think that was going to happen to you? And I'm not victim shaming or doing anything like that. But what I don't get, if a woman see a man already beating this woman, what make you think that he ain't finna do the same thing to you when he gets you there? He would woo you around. He would give you the finest things. He would make you think, oh girl, you the special one, you mine whatsoever. But once he get you in, that's when that brain gonna click. Okay, I got her now. So she's gonna do what I say do. So she's saying that she was afraid that he was gonna blackmail her with these videos whatsoever. He was already sending videos to other people. Remember, he sent one to 50 Cent, and 50 Cent said, is this your girl? And you doing her like this? This the girl that you in a relationship with? So he was already sending your tapes around. And yeah, you ain't got in too far. I get it. But girl, when I seen him do that to that first woman and other women, the way he beat up Capricorn, there's no way that I would have ever got involved with this man other than doing music. And you saw that what was happening with your music career because he didn't let you release but that little one album. So he wasn't into you like that anyway. He was just using you as a cop out, and you was never his girlfriend. You might have thought that you was his girlfriend. You was his concubine. You was somebody that he can use to lure in men, which I think allegedly that he wanted. Because what man gonna sit around and watch? And he made sure that he wasn't on these videos. He made sure that nobody can come back and blackmail him. He used you. He used you to the fullest. I mean, I feel sorry for you, and I hope that you're getting the mental health that you need, because a child feels exactly what their mother feel when you're carrying them, and that can be passed along to your child. Your child can have some type of disorder, and I pray that that doesn't happen, but we already know in the medical field that was sometimes known when we deal with this type of situation. But anyway, um we'll see what happened with Diddy. Everybody already know what type of person Diddy is, and when she said his eyes was black, baby, that I'm not, I know people say it was a demon whatsoever, but honey, then you allowed him to drive you home, and then he came in after you and raped you, and then you went back with him again, what, to prove that you was the girlfriend? You was never the girlfriend. You was the concubine. You was the concubine, girl, and I wish that you would have snapped out of it. But yeah, being on those substances and stuff like that. So he had you lured two ways. He had you lured with the blackmail. Then he had you lured with the substances. Because if you own that type of stuff, you're gonna stick with the guy that's giving it to you because you know you can get it and you want your next fix. But we will see how this plays out. She's out of it now. I wish her all the best. But like as we said, you better have a strong and a airtight immunity, because when these folks come back and do this thing on you, you better hope that you're not sitting right next to Diddy at
She
their
not,
opposite
she
table.
has immunity. She has immunity.
I hope
Thank
she got an
thank
airtight one, but that's
thank
all I got.
yeah, thank you, Katrina. In my opinion, your thoughts?
Um, this case has it's done a number on me. Mainly because I've had to deal with abusive relationships in the past and stuff, and it made me think. You know what I'm saying? Like, why do people do this? And I've learned going through this. Once somebody is broken, they're broken.
Mm.
It's hard once somebody has broken you in, and you feel like you don't have nowhere else to go. You stay in it. I sometimes think when we give commentary, we thinking about how we will feel. You know what I'm saying, in those situations, and maybe because we haven't had to deal with it. But I think he learned from his mama. His mama was a madam. She knew how to break people. He's not had one successful relationship that he hasn't broke a woman. This man is a master manipulator at breaking women. And when I say break them, he break them completely. He takes away their self-control, their self-esteem, and their self-worth. Hearing her story, I just felt like she needed somebody that could have got her out of this. But I don't even think, even if she had somebody, she wouldn't never got out of it because her parents was okay with it. They was patching her up, telling her it's okay, pushing her back into his hands. She had friends that was monetizing off of it. They was getting beat too, but they were monetizing. I just feel like this man has learned the art of breaking women. And that's the sad part. Is that this demon has been out here breaking women of all kinds for years, destroying lives, just like a hurricane. He comes through, he meets women, he destroys them, mentally breaks them, and makes them feel like crap. And then we have to hear these horrible details that I wish I hadn't heard.
Thank you, in my opinion. Didon, your thoughts?
This yesterday and today has been the first time I've really dove in this particular case because I didn't want to get uh caught up in it. It's a whole lot. But today in particular, I looked at a lot, I read a lot. The job of a defense attorney is not to almost prove his client, his her client innocent, is to poke holes in the prosecution.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that this man, if he won't get off, he's going to have his time reduced because there were a lot of. I don't think Cassie was prepared. I don't think the prosecution prepared her well to take the stand today because there was a lot of back and forth, and it was all her truth. But when you're in court, you can't give any ammunition to the defense.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to cross her tomorrow. And some of the things that I heard, you know, he was in charge of my career and I left and then I went back. They're going to poke holes in all of that. They're going to poke holes in it. And they're going to make her seem like she wanted him, she wanted to use him. And we all know that's not the case. I think that 20 million wasn't enough.
Mm-mm.
I think she should have gotten more.
Mm-hmm.
But I want all the victims to get a little piece. I want them to drain him dry. He shouldn't have anything walking out of this. Because just the mere fact of what she had to do with the male escorts
Mm.
after they relieved themselves and what she had to do to Diddy after they did that, I said, come on, man. That
Mm.
is it was terrible to hear. It
Mm-hmm.
was terrible to hear that this woman had to go through this. But I'm going to say something to all the young women out here that may hear this live. Your hole, your other hole, and your other hole is not worth studio time.
Woo!
Okay?
Mm.
There's nothing in this world, not
Mm-hmm.
$1,000, not $1 million check,
Mm-hmm.
worth you being treated like this for a record that may not ever get played on the radio.
Oh, you better talk. You better talk.
We got to speak truth here. It's not worth it. There's too many young women out here giving themselves away for a chance that ain't gonna happen.
Mm. Mm-mm.
You
Mm.
got you gotta some some type of self-respect. The industry ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. Sometimes you might need to work that 9 to 5.
You better talk to the people.
Sometimes you got to work 2 9 to
You
5s.
better say it again.
The quick fix ain't
Mm.
always easy. There's always a price to pay. So just be mindful who you surround yourself with and allow people to take advantage of you. Get away. It may not be easy. You may got to start from scratch. You may have to leave with the clothes on your back, but get away. It's not worth what this woman went through with this maniac. And she's not the only one. When they start pulling these other witnesses, everybody's going to run concurrent. They're going to have the same stories. They're going to have the same stories because this man has never changed. Shout out to Wendy Williams for saying it a long time ago on Hot 97 and getting fired.
Come on now, you better talk to the people.
Shout out to Jaguar Wright,
Mm.
who everybody said she was crazy.
Mm.
So I just, be careful who you surround yourself with. Everybody doesn't always have your best interests at heart. Some people are just there to use you.
Mm. Whew. Well, listen, we only on really, what is this? Day 3 of testimony. We're only on day 3. Felicia, did you want to say something? I'm about to close out.
Yeah, I did. Thank you, Diva. And I'd like to say to all the young folks out there, anybody, I don't care what their title, mother, father, grandmother, sister, cousin, brother, neighbor, anybody who brings a drug to you to take, they don't care for you.
Oh my
and
God.
They don't love you. They really don't. All of these stories, all of these situations have heavy substance abuse. And it's on a day-to-day basis. And they're not free. But once you become addicted, you're going to go back to where you can get them.
Yeah.
One of the things that Ms. Ventura testified to was that the friends or the workers, whoever was there, whoever didn't get a recent prescription, they would get their name called in and a prescription would be written for them and they would come back and share the substances in the room. Anybody who comes to you, whether it's some weed or it's this, they don't care for you. They don't believe in you. They don't want you to have a future. Walk away, like the Don says, and keep walking. Go with people who have a plan for you to succeed on your own without the substances, the bag, the condo, the shoes. There's a way to get what you need to be successful in life without having to compromise your integrity, your honor, your self-respect. I'm done.
Ooh, listen, we did some teaching here tonight. Oh, Jackie Hampton said, can I speak before you close? Just asking. Yes, you can, Jackie. The link is up there. Click on the link. If you have something to say, you could come through. I will put the link out again, just in case. Let me see. Invite. Copy. I dropped the link again. I'll give you a few minutes there, Jackie. Right? Jackie, I just dropped it again. I just dropped it. Let me just see. I dropped it again, but it's also pinned to the top. This yes, hi, thank you, Julius. Thank you. And to my mods out there, thank you for holding this thing down. Jackie, the link is out there. We're going to give you a little bit more time. You said that you knew here. The link is there, Jackie. I'll drop it one more time, but the link is there. You're new here. We welcome the new people. I hope you also hit that like button, and hopefully think about becoming a subscriber. I dropped the link again. So we'll give you a second or two, Jackie, to come through. We're waiting on you. All right. This is it. Somebody said Jackie is Marlo Hampton's sister. Love you back, girlfriend. Thank you. Love you back. All right. I don't know, Jackie. We're waiting for you to come through. I'm gonna give you like maybe another 60 seconds. I don't know where you're at, but the link, I dropped this several times for you to click on it. It's pinned to the top, but not only that, I must have put it in chat about 3 times now. I don't know where you went. Thank you. Okay. So listen, we got a lot of good tips here from everybody. And over here, we do not victim shame. We never have, even from the beginning when we read all of these lawsuits over here in the very beginning of this whole Diddy thing. But we got to educate. And the reason why we're educating is because we do not want any other person. You should be able to get in, Jackie. I don't know. There's no way because my backstage is not full. Raheem, that's a good question. Who do I think is winning so far? Well, here's the thing. Here's the problem I think that arises is that sometimes individuals get so distracted because her story is horrific, right? And if you it's taking you to StreamYard, but you got to continue through it, Jackie. Her story is so polarizing, and then they saw the picture of you could correct me if I'm wrong, Felicia. They saw the picture of Cassie's busted eye and busted lip, and so and we're all hearing about this, right? And then plus the jury is not sequestered, so it's so many moving parts to this. And of course, when you're hearing all of this about Sean Combs, you're like, oh my God. But the real thing here is that where's the RICO? And like the Don said, she was all over the place. I think her bravery, I'm proud of her for that. I think she's doing good in terms of holding up because she's pregnant. But at the end of the day, she was all over the place. And he got 9 lawyers. I don't know how these 9 lawyers are going to handle it because they got to be sensitive to her, right? They got to be sensitive to her because she's pregnant. But she was all over the place. I loved him. I didn't love him. He argued me, but then after that, I was still with him. Kim Porter died. I went to see about him. Then she says out of her own mouth, you can't just erase love like that. But the thing is, if I was the defense team, I would say, but at the time you started dating your new boyfriend, right? Who became your husband just a year later. Which I really feel that they were dating way before she want to admit to them dating. But that's, another story for her. But it's something that to me, the defense should bring out a little bit more. Because why all of a sudden you could leave? Why were you no longer afraid that you went to a closure dinner? To me, if I finally got away, I'm not having a closure dinner with you because I would be scared that you may try to entrap me again. So you were so afraid all these years, but then towards the end, you went to a closure dinner with him. She said a lot of things that they can really poke holes in it. Okay, I think they're trolling. Yeah, they're probably trolling too. They're not coming through. So you know what? We're going to go ahead and close out. I appreciate y'all for being here. Y'all know the routine. If you didn't hit that like button on the way in, hit the like button on the way out. Good night and goodbye, everybody.